Welcome to Follow the Content Leaders, a podcast where we want to learn how leaders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, coaches, and consultants have built their businesses and exactly what role has content played in their strategies. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hello, Pavol. How are you doing?
I'm pretty well. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today. And hello to you, Monica.
Sure. Welcome to the next episode of Follow the Content Leaders podcast. Today I'm here with Pavol Losonsky, who is an ex-championship pro athlete. So we have an athlete with us today. We're going to learn a lot about that. And who has now turned into a certified performance coach. So we're also going to learn about how you're coaching your mentees at the moment. And I've read also you are passionate about mental toughness, which is something that catched my eye. So I'm probably going to touch at some points about that. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Good. I always like to start the podcast with the first random question, and that is, what is it that you cannot work without? I guess in your case it's changed because you've worked in very different fields, but what would be a thing that you always have with yourself when you're working or when you're training, maybe? I don't know.
Ooh, a tough question off the gate. What's something I cannot work without? It doesn't have to be anything concrete, right?
No.
Okay, so I know this may sound as a cliche statement, but I believe like you cannot achieve anything without having a proper and strong mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned that through sports. I've learned that through having a family, two children, and I'm also learning that through running a solo business.
Yeah. And then I'll tap a bit more into that, right? So, how do you get into that right mindset when you start a working session?
You mean like in the morning when I get to the office, right? Okay, if I was to use experiences from my professional days, it's all about preparation. Like for example, okay, you know the game is in the evening, but everything you do that day prior to the game affects your performance on the floor. So it starts with a good sleep. It starts with having a good breakfast, then some routine. You go for a walk, or when I was younger, I would go and hit the gym. I would do some light weightlifting training. Then
Mm-hmm.
it's a lunch. It's pretty like fully nutrition lunch. Then it's a short nap, and then I know I'm ready to go. I take the floor. I have my warm up routines, and then once I hit all those preparation steps, then I know I'm ready to perform at the high level. And in business, I feel like it comes down to the same routine. Like if I know what I do each day, if I know that those activities align with my monthly or yearly goals, then it's pretty much about executing those activities, those daily activities. But if, for example, I come to the office and there is nothing on my board, or I don't know what exactly I'm supposed to do this day, then I'm functioning randomly, and those results are usually pretty random too.
I love that, right? Because it's not a single thing that you need, but it is a maze of things that need to be aligned for you to then perform. And I love that you mentioned a nap too. I'm a big napper. So I'm Spanish, right? I had to be. So, yeah, tell us a bit more about yourself. I know your journey, but for those listeners who don't know your journey, what did you do as a pro athlete before, and what is it that you're doing now?
Well, I come from Slovakia, from a small town, Pezinok. It has around 20,000 people, maybe a little bit more now. But I was just an ordinary kid playing basketball and falling in love with basketball on the outside courts.
Mm-hmm.
And by the age 10, I had a dream of going to the US and playing university basketball there, and then eventually becoming a professional athlete who makes money doing what he loves. And when I was 18, then I kind of felt like Slovakia was kind of too small for me and for my dreams. So that was kind of the time when I needed to get myself to the bigger stage. I packed up my stuff and I left. I went to California where I studied, and then after I finished my university and I got my degree, I returned back to Europe, where I became a professional athlete, making money, doing what I love.
Mm-hmm.
And played professionally for about 12 years, so 12 seasons. And last year, I officially retired from professional basketball career and then transitioned into coaching, mentoring, and running my solo business. And what I do now is pretty
Interesting.
much just utilizing and leveraging everything that sports taught me during the past 28 years. And that's what I'm doing with my clients, and that's where my passion lies right now.
Yeah, so interesting, right? And what would you say do you help your clients with at the moment?
I don't think there is a single thing. Every client has their own agenda, own set of problems, or set of desires or wishes they want to achieve. It starts with just being clear on those goals, being clear on those daily routines, and then you can actually move forward. And it kind of comes down to having the mindset to be ready to overcome challenges that get in the way, because you know the rule, like everything like something always goes wrong. It's never perfect, and there is no a line between A and B, a straight line. It's always kind of a rough, bumpy road that you need to be able to handle. That's why I say like it's all about the mindset, and that's one thing I carry with me. Is just having a strong mindset. Like, okay, if something comes in the way, I'm ready to overcome it, uh, and I'm actually looking at all those obstacles as opportunities to grow, improve, and learn. Find is that don't want to call them normal people because we're all normal, but like non-athlete people that have no background or never played any sports, they give up way too easily when they don't see results. Somebody is trying to lose some weight. 3 weeks later, the scale is not moving, so they give up. Somebody is trying to create something. Okay, first time it fails, second time it fails. Okay, they give up. They don't try the third time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about mindset, like how quickly we are able to get back up on our feet, how quickly we are able to respond to the situation and just learn from it and move past. The clock is ticking.
It's the resilience, right? And I guess you learned that the hard way during your athlete years. But I'm curious because also you started competing very young, as you mentioned. So maybe at the beginning, all of this mindset part of athleticism was not part of you. So when did you start getting into the mindset, and how was the Pavel before that interest in mindset?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I started when I was 7 and I stopped when I was 35. So all those
Mm-hmm.
years are the most precious years because they gave me so much to my life, to everything.
Yeah, I get that. And would you say you were already kind of building this mindset resilience and this mental toughness since you started at 7, or maybe at some point in your career you were a bit, I don't know, because I didn't know you at the time, but maybe you were a bit more greedy or a bit more um, egocentric in a way, because professional athletes in general do have this cliche attached to them. I don't know if you had a phase in which you were a bit more like this and then you started working in your mindset, or was it since the start that you already kind of felt it this way?
If I am completely honest and truthful, I mean, I come from a very ordinary family. We never had a lot of money. So even going
Mm-hmm.
to the US when I was 18, my parents had to take a loan and just buy me an airplane ticket. And then when I get there, I need to work because I have $200 in my pocket and I needed to work. So I work in the school
Mm-hmm.
cafeteria. I was a trash can guy. I was selling pizza to football players, and I was being the captain of the team. And I still needed to work. So I feel like I've been always humble, and it is a different to have ego, sports ego when you're performing because you need to compete, and sports ego
Mm-hmm.
is in place. Like you need to be ready to face a dog fight to be able to win the game. But off the court, I was always friendly, nice. I was helping people. I was mentoring younger players. I was never feeling that I'm something more than somebody else. That helped me
Good.
a lot, and all those struggles that I've been through, they always kind of helped me to keep my feet on the floor, or down to earth. Uh,
Hmm. Yeah, that's amazing, right? Because it shows that you were building the resilience both in the athlete world in the court, but also in your personal life. And I think that both of those journeys, it's what makes you now such a good coach for others, right? Because you didn't only perform and excel in the athleticism, but also personally as a human being outside of the court. So for sure, kudos to you for that.
Thank you so much for a nice compliment.
Sure. And then I'm curious as to when you start coaching around a year ago, I guess you start getting into content or you start looking into um, marketing, content marketing, etc. How does that journey start? And have you enjoyed a bit this part of creating content for your coaching business?
I actually started to coach and mentor maybe 2 to 3 years ago. I was focusing mainly on athletes because that's where I'm
Mm-hmm.
from. That's where I understand those mindsets the most. But it wasn't challenging for me anymore. So I was trying to discover a new world. I was trying to kind of smell the business side. But my tries on LinkedIn were not hitting. I was creating content. I was trying to sell myself as a performance coach, and of course, I was struggling. But I had the mind. I knew I could coach people. I could deliver. But you need to have strategy. You need to understand how LinkedIn works. You need to know how to create a powerful content that is going to resonate with people, and that's where my knowledge was literally non-existent. I had no freaking idea
Mm-hmm.
what I was doing. Then, of course, we already know. I met Jacob Pex.
Mm-hmm.
He helped me to kind of break the ice, and so I had the same mindset that I know I can be a good coach and I can deliver results for my clients or help my clients deliver results for themselves. But I needed some guidance with content, with like how I can market myself, because as we know, the competition is huge.
Mm-hmm.
In solopreneurship or freelancing, like now people are trying to are starting their own businesses. So the line is very, the bar to start a business is very low, but the bar to actually be a prosperous coach or prosperous businessman is very high because of the competition.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you need to have those systems and strategies in place. You need to know how to write a content that resonates and bring you clients. So I kind of feel like the biggest shift for me happened after I approached Jacob. He right away, like he showed me my blind spots, things I needed to work on, things I needed to learn, things I needed to improve in terms of my content, in terms of my positioning, in terms of my content pillars. And I
Mm-hmm.
started to work on those and I fixed them, and now it's pretty much the result of the hard labor, those consistent steps, activities that I was doing daily. And that shift came last year, I believe in October, and now it's not even a full year, and I'm way ahead of where I would even imagine that I could be.
Yeah, it's great, right? I also was coached by Jacob, as you said, and I think uh, finding the right coach that's the right fit for you, it can help you so much along the way that you don't even realize when you start working with that person. And just as he did that for you, I'm sure that you hope to do that same transformation for your clients, right? Or that what happens to me a bit too. It's like I only wish I can have the same impact that coaches that I've had in the past have had in me in my clients. So of course, that gave you a lot of clarity. And now I'm also curious a bit to learn about the parts of content creation that you've worked with Jacob, but which are the parts maybe that you enjoy the most, and which are the parts that maybe you kind of don't like so much, right? Is it writing? Do you enjoy that part, more visual part, more the ideation, the system? What is the part that you enjoy the most?
This is something, it's pretty hard to answer because I wouldn't say that I enjoy like creating content or I enjoy writing because it's not really, I am still an athlete, like a former professional athlete who's
Mm-hmm.
never read, like the last time I wrote an essay was back in the day when I was at the uni. So this was something I needed to learn from the scratch. And I remember not only Jacob, but also my other mentor, Daniel, they were really
Mm-hmm.
tough on me. It's like, well, cut out the fluff, cut out the BS. Like it's too long. It's just it's too many details. Like nobody needs to see that. I'm like, well, there is this is the end. Like draft. Like I don't know how else to like make it shorter. They were on my ass like literally on every single post. Like 30% cut out, 40% cut out, 50% cut out, and I was really struggling. But then I kind of realized like they're actually doing exactly the same that my basketball coaches were doing with me. Like they were being hard on me. They were like not giving me any. They were not trying to sugarcoat anything. They
Mm-hmm.
were trying to help me out. So I stopped to resist what I was being told. I'm like, okay, I need to really just work on this. And over the period of the last year, I learned to write. Like it comes easier to me. Like it's simpler, to me. Uh, I don't feel like I write long essays anymore. I know how to format
Mm.
better, and I'm always asking myself, or kind of wondering, like if a professional athlete could learn how to do this, then anybody can.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no magic formula. You just need to put in those repetitions. Just like in sports, you train, you train, you train, and then you get better. Like
Mm-hmm.
you write, you write, and you get better. Uh,
Absolutely.
I had
Yeah.
those content pillars. I was clear on them. It's mindset, performance. It's the solopreneurship, entrepreneurship, and it's kind of the coaching, consulting, like those themes. So I was always somewhere around those pillars, but the content was too fluffy. It was too long. I didn't know how to evoke an emotion in my reader. I didn't know how to use CTAs properly, and those things
Mm-hmm.
I learned. But
Yeah.
to write better content, you just need to put in like.
I agree so much, and I resonate so much with what you just explained. Because personally, me coming from a corporate world and legal corporate world, where the more you write, the smarter you are, I had to unlearn everything, every single bit of how to write that I've learned for not only in uni like you, but also all of my professional years. I worked as a lawyer for 8 years, and the more words, the more fancy words, the longer the words, the better your text was going to be, right? And that's the complete opposite in social media in general, and of course too on LinkedIn. So I kind of feel you perfectly on this. And then I always ask this question too, in terms of, I guess you are the one writing all your content, you've gotten help from your coaches, etc. But if you were to hire at some point someone to help you with writing your content, what would be the number one quality that you'd be looking on that person?
This is actually a good question, and I, I have already thought about like having a ghostwriter or copywriter in my
Mm-hmm.
corner that I'm trying to delegate as much as I can because, of course, like to answer your previous question, uh, I don't really enjoy writing content. I don't hate it. Like it kind of became like a neutral feeling. Like if you hate something, it's pretty hard to do something. But it became
Mm-hmm.
like neutral. Like I don't mind, but I don't enjoy. Okay, I enjoy working with people. I enjoy mentoring and coaching people. I enjoy seeing my clients are achieving results. That's what I love and enjoy, and that's what I would love to do 24/7, and not do ideation and creating content. So what I would be looking in a person, I think they need to understand how I think, kind of sort of my story as well, because there's a lot of content on LinkedIn that is very repetitive. It's sort of a GPT style AI, and it's pretty difficult to distinguish yourself from the crowd. My content, I share a lot of personal stories, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
not only success stories, but a lot of those stories that hurt, that I suffered. It's something I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty difficult for somebody to put that emotion in the post, or to share what I felt at that moment. So that's stories. The kind of the regular content, those regular posts that I'm trying to evoke a feeling in my reader, I think those would be more easier for somebody to kind of copy and apply and write for me. But my content, I feel like people resonate with it because they feel like I'm in it. And my question, like, which I've been already asking myself, like, okay, this is something that I could possibly delegate on somebody, but would that person be able to put sort of my soul, my experiences, my pains and emotions in the post the same way like I'm doing it right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's the hardest part when you are a ghostwriter, right? To actually get the feeling of writing as the person you're writing for. And I love asking this question because many times the answer is exactly what you just said, right? For them to understand me, to get my feeling. And I don't think I've ever gotten the answer of that they know how to write, or that they know about copywriting, or that they know about call to actions. It's always this, right? What worries us is that we sound ourselves and not that we sound like anyone else on LinkedIn, which is a problem, as you said. Good. So I'm going to ask you one last question. This one is a bit selfish because I always like to consume a lot of content, but not only online, but also offline, which means reading actual books. So if you have any book recommendation or any book that has specially impacted your life and you want to share that with us, that'd be great.
Thank you, Walker. While We Sleep was an
Mm-hmm.
amazing book that opened my eyes. Like, I knew how sleep was important for everybody, not only for professional athletes or athletes. But that book really opened my eyes, and something I do with my clients right now. Like, when somebody says like, "Well, Pavol, I'm stressed. It's turning into a chronic stress. I'm not performing. I'm being inefficient in work or at home. I'm struggling with time." I asked, "How many hours per day do you sleep?" "Well, 5.5, 6." "Okay, you're not sleeping enough." "No, this is how I've been sleeping since my high school." "Okay, well, just because your body adapted to
Mm-hmm.
your lack of sleep, that doesn't mean like you are sleeping enough. You are getting quality of sleep." So I'm actually guiding and teaching my clients how to sleep first, and then I try to solve their problems, because a lot of things with the better sleep just disappear. Like, all of
Mm-hmm.
a sudden they don't have a up and downs in their energy levels. All of a sudden, like, they're more creative. All of a sudden they can be more efficient. All of a sudden they can focus more. And it just because it comes down to how many hours do you sleep, like how good or how poor is your sleep. So that is one book I would definitely recommend to every single human being on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there is a lot of other books that I enjoyed and got something, just James Clear. It's pretty well known.
Mm-hmm.
Atomic Habits. Uh,
Yeah. No, but this one is interesting. I hadn't heard about it, so I will for sure check it out. Although I don't think I have a sleeping problem because I sleep more than 8 hours per day, but I'm happy to know how good that is for me. So yeah.
okay.
Great, Pavel. So thank you so much for joining us in this conversation today, and I hope to you go on to have a lovely day.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.